Felt absolutely zero joy. At the end of a day of work, I could barely function. I couldn't even hardly make dinner. I didn't want to do anything on the weekends. I just wanted to isolate. I wanted to be social, but I had no energy to make it happen. Work year would progress, my stomach symptoms would become worse, and my body stopped responding to steroids. I used to have so many ideas, it was like, I don't know where to begin. But with the burnout, it was like, I have no ideas. I don't know what I'm going to do next.
You have gone from burnout to restored creativity and energy, and you have things you've experienced and shared and brought. I'm just so proud of you for all your hard work. And so thank you so much for being here. Tell me a little bit about kind of where you were when we met with your burnout.
I felt absolutely zero joy. At the end of a day of work, I could barely function. I couldn't even hardly make dinner. I didn't want to do anything on the weekends. I just wanted to isolate. No interest. Like, I wanted a social life. I wanted to be social, but I had no energy to make it happen. It felt more like I should have, so I'm going to do it. Like, more like everything I did felt like an obligation rather than doing things with joy, which I know is counter to what we're supposed to do as Christ followers. So I didn't understand how, I had accepted Christ many years ago and I wasn't experiencing the joy. So I really thought I must be doing everything wrong. So reading lots of Christian books and in Bible studies and doing all the do's I'm supposed to do. And there was just still nothing.
So many people can relate to that discouragement and feeling like they're doing something wrong. Can you take me back to, do you even remember? Maybe there wasn't one point, but was there kind of a point where you felt like something has to change?
Yeah, my health. And I have a stomach disease, and they wanted to put me on biologics, and that was just a no-go for me. And I realized that with the job I have a long section of time off of work and every year, and that as my work year would progress, my stomach symptoms would become worse. And my body stopped responding to steroids. And I was making a definite connection between the level of stress that I was experiencing and my gut health. And I have done all of the nutritional stuff. I have done test after test. I usually spend my summer months going to doctors. And this year I haven't had a single appointment this summer, not a one. But I just realized that, there's more of a connection here. And I would see other people in my profession not getting sick. And I see lots of people in my profession getting sick. But those who were not, it's like, what are they doing what am I missing? How am I, what's going on? Why am I not experiencing, joy? I mean, yeah, if they are, I should be too, right? So I knew there was like a missing link, something I wasn't tapping into. I've done therapy, I've done everything. And I guess the final straw was we went on a vacation. And okay, like it was like a nice cruise, a really nice cruise. I didn't have fun.
Oh, I hope you're planning.
It was like I got back and scheduled the appointment with you. We got back on Sunday, and Friday we had my meeting with you. And here it is. Okay, I'm looking forward to doing things now. Where it was almost like we went on that. Okay, let's check that box. We got that done. It's not the way you're supposed to vacation.
Yeah. And I know your job is important to you and that you love it and that you achieve high, but I'm glad you're enjoying life. So you shared a little bit about you not going to the doctor and feeling better. If we go to results, like what are some of the specific results that you're experiencing now, and how long have you been in just over, like, How long have you been in? Is this
It'll be 90 days on the 4th.
okay? So
In a
yeah.
week, it'll
Okay.
be 90
Okay.
days.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, what kind of results are you experiencing now? Like, what kinds of changes have you noticed other than not going to doctor's appointments and feeling better?
Um,
Noticing.
I'm looking forward to things, doing things. I'm wanting to do things with people. I'm wanting to have adventures again. I kind of like adventures. I have I'm starting to have a lot of creative thoughts again. I used to be the person that I couldn't shut down the creativity. My job's highly creative. And I used to have so many ideas. It was like, where to begin? But with the burnout, it was like, I have no ideas. I don't know what I'm going to do next. And it'd be the night before that I'm pulling things together and scrambling because, well, this is going to be it because I don't have time to do anything else. So now it's more like I'm getting to that point where I'm like, all right, I've got all these projects I want to do. Where am I going to fit them in? So I'm kind of back to that kind of thought where it's like, oh, good. I'm getting a lot of excitement about creating again. So that has improved. I'm sleeping better at night. So I still wake up, but instead of staying awake and my head going into all kinds of down all these icky rabbit holes, I'm getting up and I'm like, I'm not doing that tonight. I don't need to do that. I understand now what's going on in my head. And I know with the tools from this program how to shut it down. And I'm back to sleep now. So that, and sometimes I still will wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm sleeping. That's not
I
what I'm
love
doing
that.
now.
I love
So yeah, and just like I'm having better boundaries with people and I'm not taking things personally. That was a big thing too, that I don't know if I've really ever talked about, but everything was a personal attack. Now I'll say, gosh, it could be this, but yeah, this is not about me. This is about them. So instead of me taking, somebody taking a little too long to return a call, instead of my head going down oh, did I offend them? Well, what did I say? What? Now I'm just like, oh, did I? No, they're busy. I get busy. They get busy. That's just all it is. And my confidence is growing where I didn't have the confidence. I lost my confidence to speak up, to say, hey, I don't like that. If you want to be in a room with me, we can't go down that. And those, with my closer friends, I'm able to say, I can't do that with you anymore.
Wow.
I love you, but
Huge.
for my health, I can't. So, and I'm just practicing and learning ways of, and it's interesting because as I'm doing this with the relationships that are most important to me and closest to me, they're making adjustments and changing. And my husband, we'd kind of laugh because he'd take a couple hours to fall asleep. I'd wake up after 3 to 5 hours and be awake. So we had like opposite sleeping shifts.
Yeah.
Now he grabs the pillow, throws it on the floor, and says, "Are we getting our legs up or what?" And he's asleep before I've got the pillow on the bed again. So it's like it's
I love
impacting the lives around me as well because it's like that. It's healthiness is contagious, and my positive outlook is affecting him. He lost his job a year ago. He's started a business. He's never thought of himself as a business owner. He's definitely never thought of himself as a salesman. Not at all. Now he's the one who's leading the positive charge. And it's like, it's just been contagious. It's been really,
I love that.
yeah. And people are wanting to spend more time with me and it's like, you don't realize here what's going on here is coming out, whether it's things you post on social media or just the way you talk, but these positive things start bringing other people out of the woodwork that you weren't in relationship with before because maybe you weren't as healthy. I wasn't as healthy, so I didn't have the healthier people in my circle. Now I'm seeing them starting to show up. It's really strange.
Love that. That must feel amazing. I love hearing that. Well, you
Yeah, they're
definitely
just
have that influence with the other ladies too. I love how you've shown up with the other ladies in the program. Given that you were in a transition, was there any, skepticism or fear that you had around joining?
the
Do you remember that at all?
fear, I guess, that I wouldn't even say it's a fear. this has been worth every penny and then some, but it was hard on our budget. And I was bound and determined. And it's amazing how God puts you in certain situations where if it hadn't, because like I said, my husband lost his job, he started a company, our income has taken some major serious hits the last year. And maybe that's why God had me and things had to line up just right. My biggest fear was not getting everything out of this that I could because of my burnout. But I just said, I am not wasting one red cent that we don't really have to be putting towards this. So that was my biggest thing. Like I knew that this was it. I'm not spending another penny anywhere else. This is going to work. It's got to. I didn't really give myself a choice, but that was probably my biggest stressor about this whole thing was I've got to overcome that. Because I mean, last summer, I had to force myself to get out of bed. And I would have days where I would circle around the bed because I was in such a depression that I wanted to be in that bed, but I knew it was the last thing I should probably do. Because once I started letting myself be in that bed, I probably would stay in that bed all day, every day until I had to go back to work.
I'm so glad you're in a different spot. And it's just, I love seeing the creative things you've shared in the group that you're doing now. So if you could say something to someone maybe who is in the same spot of burnout and maybe had tried a lot of things and was skeptical, or maybe they just hadn't been in the, some people, it's like a stretch, like you're saying, it's like, oh, this is going to create hardship, or maybe they just haven't been someone who maybe they invest in a lot of other people and things, but they just haven't ever really done anything to really invest in themselves. Is there any kind of advice you would give them if they were considering joyful and present, but were having fear about maybe investing and not getting results? Do you have anything that you would share with them?
It's all about your level of commitment. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you really want the growth and the change and you follow the process and you log on to every opportunity that you can fit in your schedule, and whatever you miss, you're going back and listening. If you really want it to work, it absolutely will. And it does. And I know that just not for myself, but listening to the growth in everybody else, everything that's in the chat, the amount of support, the amount of encouragement, being able to send an email and getting a response and the support that way, everything. There's so much support that if you are taking advantage of it, you are going to grow. But if you're not going to do it, you're not going to see the growth.
Right. We provide a lot of support and a lot of accountability, but I tell people success is absolutely inevitable if you show up.
Yeah.
Right. If you show up, it's absolutely inevitable.
It's like in my job, we talk about having enough tools in our toolbox to do all of the aspects of our job. And I feel like I showed up with a completely empty toolbox that had some things written on it. Like I actually have done and led a lot of social emotional learning stuff. I've taken a tremendous amount of social emotional learning graduate level courses to maintain my certifications. And I know all this, like a lot of this stuff. Not everything. Okay, I know like 15%. But as I'm looking at it, I'm reading, I'm like, yeah, I know this stuff. But as I was telling my husband in the beginning, there is an order that you put everything in, a sequential order. You break it down, you describe it, and you give us all the tools to support the growth and the changes that need to happen. And all of these are tools. And now I feel like my toolbox doesn't just have some stuff written on the outside of what to do, but it is packed full. And when you come to the live Zooms, and there are so many opportunities for it, when you go back and you listen, if you don't know, if you're dealing with something, you're like, hey, is there a recording on this? We can reach out, email, and get a response. It's like, you have so many tools, it's hard to remember what is for what. But when you're listening to other people going through things, it's like, oh, yeah, that tool. I forgot about that one. Or, like the gratitude journal. I've done gratitude journal for the better part of 25 years. But I often forget about it. And even going through this, 90 days, I've got my gratitude journal next to my bed, but sometimes we're busy and we're doing whatever. And I do my bedtime routine, and it's like my husband will ask me a question or whatever. We talk about something. I forgot the gratitude journal. And I get off track with it a few days, and I'm like, oh, yep, somebody brings it up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, got it. Back on it. And then it's like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm sleeping better at night. So things that are bothering me, I put it in the positive in my gratitude journal. Like that's also part of the getting to sleep better too. But those tools, there's so many tools that are available in this that we can tap into. There's so many you forget.
Yeah. Is your body feeling different? Do you feel like those tools, because you've been doing them consistently, can you tell the regulation of your nervous system and the impact that's having on your body?
Absolutely 150,000%. And when I'm going through another, what is it, new level, new devil, onion layers, as I'm peeling back, I'll have days where I have those old feelings again. And my stomach won't feel right. And I feel them in my body. And I take those tools and I am able to access them. And sometimes it takes me a couple days to be like, hey, what's going on here? And to really just sit down, wait a minute, I need to sit on this for a minute. And this needs to be what I need to go through. And, with a body scan or whatever tool it is that I choose to reach onto that time, or just sitting and just feeling it. And, my body is feeling so much better. I am so much more acutely aware of how each food I put in my body makes me feel. And it used to be, I'm feeling it right now. So I'm remembering it. It used to be, "Ugh, I got to eat. I really want to eat that and that and that." And my body and my stomach would tense up at the thought of, here comes a meal. Is it going to make me sick? Am I going to be able to figure out which one of these food items made me sick? Now I'm just relaxed. I sit down, I take a few deep breaths. I don't tighten up my body. I relax my shoulder. I do some breathing. I make sure we say something funny or laugh about something or look outside, just anything. And then I eat, and I'm not getting sick on my food anymore. So, but when I have a couple days and I'm not sure and I'm not tuning in as well, I have to stop and I have to slow it down, and my body will feel bad if I'm not being mindful to do that. It's weird because I'll reflect back to when I was a kid. I used to be the slowest eater, and I used to have the healthiest gut in the world. And yeah, things happen through life and you change the way you think. And then you got
That mind body connection is so powerful, and what stress does to our body. But and these things you're going to keep healing and growing. I mean, these will be things that you'll continue to be healing throughout your life, improving throughout. They will just get stronger with time. The 150,000% will even get better.
every test you could get done on a brain. I started to see a neurologist, and canceled the appointment I was supposed to have last Monday with him. He even said, I'm pretty sure, because everything in your brain is perfect, I am pretty sure what you are dealing with is burnout.
Was that surprising to you to hear him say that it was burnout, or did you kind of think that the burnout was causing that?
I fully was not surprised that he told me I was burnout. I didn't realize the deep connection of the mental status of burnout. I kind of always just thought burnout was you were tired and not feeling real creative anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You were just real tired and feeling shut down. But it was pretty, I was alarmed. I was seriously concerned that I had early onset dementia or Alzheimer's. That's what I went in there with. I was really very concerned. And I used to tell everybody, if we have something to do, yeah, it's on my calendar, but there's a good chance I won't remember to check my calendar. So, or if I do check it early in the day, by the time I get to the end of the day, so if you could just send me a quick message reminding me we've got something going on, that'd be really great.
How long into joyful and present was it before you felt your mental function coming back online and being able to, synthesize information, remember things? Like, how long do you think it took you to start getting that back?
Yeah, I was just trying to remember that in the last couple days, and it seems like it was before I started in module 2. And I was slow. I went through everything really slow. I keep going back to module 1 as things come up. I go back to the basic, but it was somewhere before I want to say either early in module 2 or
Yeah.
right before I started module 2. So within the first 6 weeks, I
Okay.
was like, oh my gosh, I was just in a meeting. I was putting stuff together. I was problem solving. I
Yeah.
haven't been able to do this in years.
That's amazing. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of your consistency, but to go from feeling like maybe you had Alzheimer's or early dementia to 6 weeks later. So we tell people minimum of 15 minutes a day practice. And I know you're absorbing information and learning things in addition to that, but then really implementing and that nervous system regulation. So amazing. That's amazing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And just even like the things that the 15 minutes in the morning, just stopping to do that periodically, recognizing in my body, I think that's really been super helpful. I planted structured time on my alarms and my phone to go off to stop. But then it got to a point where I was just feeling it in my body and I didn't need the alarms anymore.
yeah.
And I'd feel it and I'd be like, oh, I got to breathe. And now it's just like, as soon as anything feels a little tense, I'm like,
You know what to do.
what's going on here? And then I can think a whole lot more clearly about whatever it is.
Okay. That's great. Makes me so happy to hear that. That's amazing. And it's good to
Yeah.
know
And
your brain's not broken.
right,
You're
exactly.
intelligent and creative
But
and you
I was depriving it of oxygen is what I think I was doing because I told my husband, just like a week into it, I was like, I think that I hold my breath all day long and I hold it up high, not on the exhale. I hold it on I don't anymore on the inhale. And, he is like, well, no wonder you can't think. Yeah, I'm starving my brain of oxygen. So, yeah.
good to hear you're not experiencing that anymore. That's fabulous.
We're not experiencing it.
It's just been a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for being here. I love you're so encouraging to other women and congratulations on all your hard work. And it just makes me truly happy that you're feeling so much better.
Thank you for putting all of this together.
You are welcome. You're welcome. All right.
Thanks.